So I'm Shelby, and I'm going to be talking about if school uniforms should be required in all types of schools. I know that we have all seen at least one movie or TV show that's about a private school with its strictly enforced rules, where teens have to wear proper uniforms. The movie always includes the three mean girls and how they pick on everyone else and only create drama. These movies and shows are created for a reason, to show the ugly side and dreadful lives these uniforms can create. According to Michelle Kuzman, wearing school uniforms limits self-expression. Teens use the idea of expressing themselves with their sense of style. If that gets taken away, teens won't have a sense of identity or truly discover who they are as a person. First, I would like to talk about how school uniforms can be very uncomfortable and will never be in your favor. Continually, students can also lose themselves by having to wear these uniforms. Then I would like to talk about how they can be sexist. And lastly, since I gave some points towards the cons of school uniforms, there are some benefits of having them. Now I will explain how the uniforms the schools may use can be very uncomfortable. Sometimes the uniforms can be very tight or have itchy material. The uniforms the school provides can also be super easy to grow out of, which causes you to buy a new uniform every year. Also, if you were to move schools, that would make you have to buy a new uniform, which would take away more money out of your pocket. Uniforms can be very uncomfortable and a waste of money. And this is a picture of her not liking the school uniforms. Okay, so now I will talk about how student uniforms can question teens' self-identity and can cause confusion. Many students can lose their sense of self if schools won't allow them to have their own style. According to Tess Cullen, he states school uniforms come in a limited range of sizes and might not fit everyone, because everyone comes in different shapes and sizes. Everyone's body is different because everyone is an individual in different ways. Everyone is different and in their own is their own person, so they should have their own right to be themselves by wearing what they want to wear. Furthermore, Washington Renata talks about how the Tinker family had a big issue with the school because they removed the students off of campus who were protesting the Vietnam War by wearing black armbands. The Tinker family claimed the school was violating their First Amendment right. They sued the school district saying that it was a violation. All students have their own right to freedom of speech, so why should that be taken away from having school uniforms? Every student needs to be able to have the chance to figure out who they are as a person and what their purpose is. And then this is a picture of him wearing his own style and then her wearing the uniforms. So there's different sides to both sides, I guess. Since I talked about how uniforms will take away self-identity, now I'm going to talk about how uniforms can be sexist. If the uniforms are going to be used throughout schools for both genders, it can create sexism. Lastly, Emily Morgan explains that the reflex reaction is the reason why a certain section of the population finds it especially difficult to find peace with themselves for so long. Many refuse to accept the gender they are born to, not the gender they are brought up to, until well into their adulthood. Why? Because it's so taboo for boys to want to be girls or look like girls, or girls want to be guys or look like guys. School uniforms are such a good thing and can help communities, then why can't it cause more confusion and weirdness in one person who doesn't understand who they are yet? The choice shouldn't be chosen for the students who don't know their identity. The choices of students need to be decided for themselves, just like we learn throughout our lives. You are your own person and have the right to make your own decisions. There are many reasons why schools should not allow uniforms, and since I've talked about the reasons why they should not be allowed, I'm going to move on to how uniforms do have some good outcomes from having them. One good reason why we should have uniforms is because they can help spread equality throughout the school and promote a community. American preparatory schools explain that when our students wear uniforms, they feel included. They are a part of a team working towards success in the classroom and life. What are good reasons for wearing, from an experienced school, they explain how everyone feels united and whole, so it can help the community bond and feel like one in the right community. Now that I talked about how school uniforms can be very uncomfortable and never be in your favor, and how students can lose themselves by having to wear uniforms, then how they can be sexist, and then how they should not be allowed because there are some benefits towards having them, and how everyone can feel united. So next time you wonder if school uniforms should be used in all schools, think of all that can contribute to the idea of having uniforms. Finally, always think of others around you and what they may have to go through while having these troubled uniforms.